But why don't we air our differences here? Because it would be fair to say, I mean, let me say, I watched the Smart Step thing for about 8 months, and you guys were heavily promoting Smart Steps. What's happened to Smart Steps now? Because you believed in Smart Steps. Now what's happened?
So Smart Steps, first of all, I did believe in Smart Steps, and I still do believe the people who are behind Smart Steps is getting it together. They're reconfiguring that program and coming out with something else. But you already know that. You already know that, but you're still going out propagating false information.
But I don't think it is false.
All right, what's your next question?
Marshonda,
Because
I don't think it is false information. You were encouraging people to invest in Smart Steps and telling people to believe in the project. And then when everyone lost their money...
And I believed in the project.
No, but believing in the project's not good enough.
Okay, but okay, brother. Look, we're gonna move beyond that because you don't get it. And
no, I do get it. I do. I'm quite advanced in what I'm doing.
You're trying to put words in other people's mouths.
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to. You're saying they're authentic programs. I'm asking the questions like who was behind Smart Steps, and you say it was a smart contract.
I didn't say it. You didn't ask me that question.
That's what I've asked in the past.
No, you didn't ask me that question. So don't say what I said. That's the point with you. You just put stuff in people's mouths that you said. You didn't even ask me that question. I didn't even answer that question.
Were you part of the leadership team for Smart Steps?
Oh my goodness.
No, were you part of this?
Okay, brother, if you're gonna do that, I'm just wasting my time. If you're gonna do that, I'm just wasting my time.
You want to get off because you can't answer the questions, and I've been very...
No, I don't want to get off because I can't answer the questions.
Why don't you just tell me the truth about it? Tell me the truth about
You're telling lies.
No, tell me the truth.
I want to get off.
I'm asking you now to tell me the truth about X Bull Run, and you keep over talking me. You just gaslight me.
When you come into other people's Zooms,
I do that. That's what I do. How much money do you think I've saved mum and dad investors from people who tell them to invest in projects they believe in?
I don't know. Brother, I don't know. I don't know.
I do.
You're asking me a question that
I've had people talk to me who've invested $5 million into projects that you are pushing, and they've lost the lot. You know, I've had people who have died by suicide because they've invested and lost their life savings because they didn't listen to those little words that you say. Only invest what you're prepared to lose.
Okay, brother.
Do you hear what I see?
Brother.
I've had one Ponzi scheme had 11 people die by suicide because people were peddling it.
Okay, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that on my Zoom.
I'm telling you the facts.
Okay, just let me respond to your comment. Okay.
Fair enough.
And then you can get off of my Zoom. And you can stop harassing me. Stop calling me all times of night. Stop coming onto my Zoom acting like you're somebody that you're not. Pretending to be someone else instead of standing up behind your own name. Anything that I promote, I believe in. Anything that I promote, I believe in. And I put my money in it too. Okay? So understand that. So that's number one. Number two.
Can I address the number one though? Can I address your number one though?
You're saying that you asked
Can I address your number one though? Because you can't just rattle off a whole lot of things. You're not preaching or gaslighting to me. You said you believe in the project, but the project doesn't stack up, and you still believe in it. It's like a religion.
Doesn't stack up? What project doesn't stack up?
Smart Steps didn't stack up because people were getting 25,000 tokens a day if they did 25,000 steps, but the tokens were worth absolutely nothing.
Okay, brother, I don't own Smart Steps, so you want to move to another thing that you
Run.
Feel that you're...
Tell me about X Bull Run. You're selling nodes. You're selling nodes to people. And
for what? Which program? Which
X Bull Run.
What are you talking about?
X Bull Run.
What program?
X Bull Run.
X Bull Run.
Yeah.
Yes, X Bull Run is a fantastic program.
Why?
X Bull Run is the way that people are going to be diversifying into different coins. It's a project. If you would listen instead of keep talking about,
but I have listened.
Scam, instead of understanding,
I've been in hundreds of Zooms. They're all the same.
Let me talk right now.
Okay.
Let me talk right now, or I will kick you off my Zoom. If you want to have a real conversation, it's give and take, right? You ask me a question. Why do I believe in the X Bull Run? Why is it a good project? You were on calls. Instead of stopping and listening, just listening, instead you fill the comments with this is a scam, this is a scam, instead of listening. instead of absolutely
I'm listening now, but
listening.
you just keep on saying the
You're
same
not,
thing.
no, you're not listening. You're not
I
listening.
am. I'm
Okay?
listening, but you just keep on saying I'm not listening and I'm not talking. So come on, tell me why X-Bull
Okay.
Run's great.
Bull Run is great because this is the way that people can diversify with one click into multiple coins. That's what people want. Just like you want, when you invest in mutual funds, you want to have different stocks. That's why you're doing that. Yes, Tracy, I already know that he put me on his page. I already know that. And he's just, that's how he is. He comes into your Zoom, he pretends he's somebody else, and then tries to,
How many
put you
times do you
on
kick me out of the
his
meeting?
YouTube channel so he
If
can
I've
get
got my
clicks,
real name,
so
how
he
many
can get
times?
clicks, and so he can get clicks and try to
No, I
make
make
you out
$160
something
a
that
month
you're
from my
not.
YouTube channel, and
Oh,
everyone says I'm doing it for the money. Get real. That's
oh,
low-hanging
come on.
fruit insult.
Brother,
Another insult. I do this because people die by suicide listening to your propaganda, and they get disappointed
okay.
about what you promised they would get, and they go and kill themselves.
Okay,
You're a
brother.
murderer.
We're done. We're done. We're
Of course we're
done.
done, because you can't answer the questions, can you, Marshonda?
That's not
Marshonda.
even my you don't even know how to pronounce my name because
No,
you
I
don't
don't. I'm
know me.
dyslexic. I don't
Number
claim.
two,
I'm not claiming to be
number
anyone
two,
I'm not. But I'm not going to push
yes,
a
you are.
Ponzi scheme down
Is
your
you
throat,
on my, are
lady.
you on my Zoom not saying that you're Kimberly
You
Davis?
you don't
Are
own
you not on
Zoom.
my Zoom right now
It's a public
pretending to
platform.
be somebody that you're not?
You are a scammer,
You're
lady.
not
And I've
listening.
seen you in action.
I'm not I don't scam people out of anything. So you can forget that
Smart
and
steps.
stop coming on my Zoom
Smart
harassing
steps.
me.
You're pumping and
Stop
dumping the
coming on
crypto opportunity. That's
harassing
all
me.
you guys are doing. Oh my goodness. Unreal. Just unreal. They just believe in a project and no proof that it's actually real. Smart Steps was absolutely disgusting. And now they're promoting another one called X-Bull Run. And it's a pump and a dump. The CEO comes onto it and he doesn't turn his camera on. He doesn't have a name. He's just an individual that talks, and everyone has to believe the project. And if you look at the project on the blockchain thing, the coins are worth absolutely nothing. And what they're literally doing, even this, we looked at this so far, X-Bull Run has brought in $58,000. Half the token holders own half the tokens, which means that once, if they get the momentum that they hope, they could just dilute the company and lose all the value to the tokens that they're telling people to buy. They're telling people to buy nodes that I think are $1,000. I'm not sure. I'm actually would never actually claim to know everything about what these people are doing. But I do know that every single person that invests in this opportunity, the person that referred you gets a cut, because these guys don't care if the project is true and genuine. They are just after the lolly water. They just want the commissions for doing multi-level marketing, because these guys are what they call networkers, and they are the bottom feeders of the planet. This lady wasn't even willing to have a conversation. She overtalked me every time. She didn't want to have a discussion. She just wanted to spew out her speech and talk me down. And that's how these guys work. Now, I was brought up in a religious cult, and the elders and the ministerial servants used to stand up on the stage and tell us that everybody on the planet was going to be destroyed and only the righteous were going to inherit the earth. And if I stood up to them and challenged them in the Bible and said, hey, this isn't right, I don't believe this, they would kick me out of their religion. And that's the same. They've got a community. You go into Honda's room, they have about 80 people. They never get more than 80 people. And it's a bunch of people that all have religious beliefs who seem to share a common interest, all hoping that their scam is going to take off and they're going to all get rich. Because their love is not Jehovah, their love is not God, their love is not Jesus, their love is not the Trinity, their love is not the Holy Spirit, their love is money. Now, have you ever heard that scripture in the Bible, Marshonda, that says that the root of all evilness is the love of money? Money will not make you happy. Nothing wrong with having money, but the love of money. King Solomon used to say things like striving after the wind is what it's like. You guys, if you believe in hell, don't expect you're going to go to heaven and knock on the pearly gates. You're going to go down to hell and burn forever and ever, because that's the type of people who are. You are willing to shake the hands of somebody and say, hello, sister, and then take their money. And then, like Marshonda just said to me, I lost a lot of money in Smart Steps. She was invested. And that's what all these Ponzi scheme scammers do. The first thing they will tell you is, I lost more money than you. I was in the same, boat as you. And I just hear it time in and time out. Every single platform or program that we investigate, I don't need to go in there and even look at it. They all have the same fundamental structure. And it's hurry up, invest, or you'll miss out. Is it FOMO, fear of missing out? They all do that. They all have projects that are going to do this, going to do that. We're going to do this. We're hoping to do that. And they tell you that you need to have faith and you need to, believe in the project. What the hell? These people, if you went to the bank and said, I want to put $10,000 in the coffer, and they said, right, well, sorry, we're not paying any interest, but we are government backed and we can keep the principal of your money secure for 12 months. That sounds good, but not with crypto. No, you put your money in these, not crypto, I'm going to get this right. You put your money into these platforms and your principal is what they are taking off you. They are taking what you put in and then they drip feed you high returns for your investment. But you'll never, if you put $10,000 in, you'll never get more than probably 80 to 150 bucks back, unless you're good at recruiting. And then when you recruit people, you will get either 22 or 20% for recruiting somebody. And then the person that you recruits a friend, you'll get an additional 15%, they'll get 20%. And then the third person recruits somebody else, and the third person will get 20%, the third person will get 15%. I think I'm going to get this wrong eventually. And then I'd get another 10%. Hyperverse gave people 52% of the money that went into the platform, went back to the multi-level marketers, and it took off. So the VIP 5, the people that I think if they recruited 2,000 people, they were called a VIP 5. And if that was the case, then they were just like millionaires. And there's lots of these VIP 5s out there now promoting other Ponzi schemes or scams. So I go back to look into their Zoom and I take all the names of all the people that are in their Zoom meetings. I research the people that are in their Zoom meetings, and they've all been promoting things like Hyperverse, Hyperfund, Hypernation, Hyperplanet, Hypercosmos, Hypermall, Diversal, and then they jumped into We Are All Satoshi, and then they got involved in Nova Tech and Nova FX and Cash FX, and then we went through the VidiLooks, and then the VAVs, and then we went through VidiLook number 2, and then we went to Vend 3, and then Vend number 4, and then Vend number 5's got released, and then in between that, there's probably another 20 Ponzi schemes and scams that happened. I mean, let's just go on. I'm currently investigating over 200 Ponzi schemes, and they all have the same structure, and they all say you have to believe in the project, but no one sits there with a calculator. I mean, let me give you an example there for a second. Boomerang. Boomerang's a fake arbitrage trading platform. We showed that their website was generating the payouts, and we showed we could calculate exactly how much somebody was going to get paid out when they did a fake arbitrage trading bot. They told people that if you pay $500, you could turn that into $1,500 in a day. They were going to launch. They never got around to it for a long time. When they did launch, within an hour, their system was jammed and overloaded, they said. Couldn't handle 300 transactions a minute. They blamed it on the Polygon network. Long story short, today, right now, nobody can do a trade. They can only do one trade a day, and people get between, let's be generous, 25 to 50 cents per trade. They're never going to get their $500 back. They bought licenses thinking that they could make $1,500 a day. And then they said that you'd go buy 3 licenses the next day and use them all up. And then the next day, 4,500 licenses. And we worked it out that if you did that formula that I just mentioned every week, not every day, but just every week, that at the end of the year, you'd be a non-millionaire. But if you times it by the 125,000 people that purchased licenses, there's not enough money or tea in China or tea in India. I don't know. They're just scams, and they're all exactly the same. Everyone's saying that this project's going to be the one. Everyone's going to say that Bitcoin is the next coin is going to be just like Bitcoin. I mean, on the 5th of September, We Are All Satoshi theoretically is going to release the money that's in the Vault Horizon, where everyone was secure. 30% of the money they invested in the platform went into a thing called the Vault Horizon. Sam Lee left We Are All Satoshi, and on the same day, the money disappeared and went into the second Vault Horizon. Somehow Jarvis, the guy that now runs the company, walked in and grabbed the keys and moved all the money from one vault and put it in another one. There was meant to be $4.2 million in the vault, but if their sums were correct on what they said, there should have been $114 million in the vault Horizon. Now all that money's disappeared and put into a bank called Casher Bank, where they were claiming they were going to pay people 3% per month. And this bank pays out, a crypto bank, of course, pays out 36% per year. And people were going to be paid out dividends. But all the money was all tied up in the back of we are all Satoshi. And there's no bridge. No one could get any money out for over, I think it's nearly 300 days now. So then they released another thing called BTCC, which is their blockchain, and everyone can buy nodes for $27,000, and they're going to make 182% profit a year. And they're meant to sell 300 of these nodes that cost $27,000 each. Marshonda, her ex-bullrun.org, I think it is, or maybe .com, I forget. They're selling their nodes, I think, for $1,000 each. So you got one company over here selling them for $27,000, another company over here selling the same for $1,000, and they're all going to turn everyone into billionaires. But you got to wake up. I could yell at her, and she thinks I hate her, and she thinks I overtalk her, and she's saying that I'm going in here with a fake name. Well, try going in there with Danny de Hek as your name and see how you get on. And I go in there to cause disruption. I was in the New York Times. An organization reached out to me and they said they tracked 11 people that died by suicide who got involved in one Ponzi scheme. We had one of my video thumbnails is a lady's suicide note. She encouraged 45 people to invest under her. When they realized Jarvis launched his $500 arbitrage trading and people only getting 25 to 40 cents a day for doing one trade a day, all the people that she had encouraged to sign up were going after her and causing her names. She didn't know where to turn. So she wrote a suicide note. So this lady, Marshonda, who's in these meetings all the time with whatever his name is, Jeopardy, who's been pushing these Ponzi schemes since 2013, she's in here waving her flag, telling everyone that she's a good girl. And she's, but she's not. She's in here thinking she's doing her own thing, but she's not. She is literally, stealing mum and dad investors who think they are going to get too good to be true returns on their investment. Right, so I'm going to go back in here now, and this time I'm going to use my real name, and we'll have a look and see what happens if I do that. We'll just have a wee look, a little look. I'll just see if I can bring it in. And I'll let her do all the talking. No doubt you've been watching Marshonda. And if you have been watching to me do my rant, then why don't you let me in and answer what you think? Give me some feedback on what you think. I mean, every time I'm online, I'm not doing it in my bedroom by myself. I'm broadcasting to the world. I want to expose these people and show people, what they are doing. Let's see if she lets me in. I've got my real name now. So there's no excuse there. And I bet she'll just boot me out because she can't afford to. She can't answer me. She doesn't want to answer me. Let's go. So that's Marshonda. And why she's thinking about, I'm not going to let him in. She can come in here. I will shut up and she can do all the talking if you want. That's fine. I've got my real name there. So there's no problem there. You just come in here and you ask me all those questions and I'll actually start firing up some other rooms. I mean, from my perspective here, Helping Hearts International, an organization that claims they'll help you create your own passive income, and then all the overspill of your money will go towards feeding all the orphans in the world. The guy that was running that, well, he's a missionary, and he's currently working in Kenya. He's an American guy. He gets up at 4:30 in the morning and then tells people to sign up for his platform. Jan Gregory. So here she goes. I think we can hear you.
No, that's more like coming in as yourself. And
brilliant. I get brownie points.
Coming in as yourself and not pretending to be somebody else. Thank you. That is respect. Now, did you have another question for me? Or are you going to continue to yell and put propaganda out there about me that are lies? Are you gonna be civilized and talk? are you going to continue to put lies out there? You don't know me. You don't know what I stand for, what I do. You don't know anything about me except for what you're thinking in your brain. You know, there's a saying that says a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. I think that that's where you are right now. You don't know me, but you got some thing in your brain saying that I'm some bad person. You don't know me, but I appreciate you came into my Zoom with your own name this time. So I appreciate that. So you asked me about X Bull Run and why I believe in the project. I just told you why I believe in it. It's because people want to get into cryptocurrency and diversify, and this protocol allows you to do that with one click. Did you have another question about X Bull Run?
Are you I mean, if you want to debate the fact, if we looked at X Bull Run,
I don't want to debate.
No, well,
I don't want to
there's
debate.
no point me
I just
saying
want to answer your question. I want you to be respectful and know who I am before you put stuff out there that are complete lies. That's
Okay,
all.
then, fair enough. So who are you?
Thank you. Go ahead with the question.
Who are
But I don't want to debate. I don't want to debate.
well,
I can answer questions.
You keep saying I don't know who you are, so I've just asked you who are you? Who are you?
I'm a person that loves people. I love helping people. I've been in service my entire life.
What sort of service?
And so what I do, I help people, and I love this crypto industry, because if you're asking me about crypto, because I really believe that there are good projects out there. Now, yes, there are some projects that don't turn out how we want them to.
What was the
you're
best,
acting as wait,
no,
let me just finish.
You want to have a conversation. I'm asking you a genuine question. I really am trying to interview you because I want to know what type of person you are. Can you give me an example of a project that actually has worked out for you?
Well, we're in the X Bull Run. Let's talk about what's current right now. I love that project because, like I said,
how long have you been in crypto for?
It's not my platform, but it's a platform that I believe in.
When did you get involved in crypto? I know I watched your YouTube channel years ago, actually. I know you've been doing YouTube videos for quite a while, and I've watched what you promoted. But when did you first get involved in crypto stuff?
I learned about Bitcoin years ago, but probably been doing crypto well over 10 years now, probably.
I've got somebody's asked a question in the chat room. It said, what attracted you to XBR project?
Just the fact that you can do what most people want to do. They want to get into these different coins, but don't have any idea how to do it. They're not going to go to different platforms. They're not going to go to, Polygon, Ethereum, they're not going to go Binance and pick up the different coins, but they want to have, it's just like a mutual fund. They want to have diversification into different coins, but they don't know how to do it. And this is a protocol that I know you've been on it, but you really haven't listened to what the guy was saying. The whole vision is to help people get into coins, and it's a DeFi, meaning that it's in their wallet. It doesn't leave their wallet, right? That they have the coins in their own wallet. So it is a really great project. And that's why I like it. That's what attracted me to it.
Can I give you an example, Marshonda? Are you familiar? You would have heard me going on about Boomerang. Surely I've put quite a lot of time and energy into that.
I never got involved in Boomerang, so I don't know.
Can I tell you a story on why you may understand me a little bit more if I tell you a little bit more about Boomerang? So the Boomerang project, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is what I deal with. This is what comes on my desk every day. But Boomerang was selling people $500 licenses so they could do arbitrage trading. And the multi-level marketers were telling people, if you buy one of these licenses, you can make up to $1,500 in 24 hours. So they actually sold, we saw a lot of the money come in. We watched $350 million come into the super wallet address for We Are All Satoshi and Boomerang. And we can see on the blockchain they actually sold 125,000 licenses. When they launched, they actually said they overloaded the Polygon network, and they said that their smart contract was only set up to handle 20 transactions a minute. But when they launched, they said that they were surprised that their smart contract actually handled 300 transactions a minute. But they claimed that the Polygon network rung them up and complained that they were overloading their network, and it was unethical for them to carry on, doing the arbitrage trading. This is what they told the people. So I've got a team of people behind me called the Avengers. We went through their website code, and we found that they were actually fudging the trading, and we found the smart contracts they now have 6 of them. At the time they only had 1 of them, and they were literally not manually, but the smart contract was putting money into people's MetaMask wallets to give them a false sense of that thinking that because they were getting the money into their MetaMask wallet didn't prove the platform was true. But we got to the stage where we could go into the website code and work out if they picked this and picked that and traded this much, they'll get paid exactly that much. And we sent that we went into their Zoom meetings, they were kicking us out. They even took their website down. They had MetaMask give them a warning, but people keep saying to me, wow, the money's turning up in my MetaMask wallet, so it's true. And I go, but let me show you step by step how they're doing it, and you would understand it's a total fraud. And even like they claim that they are registered as a DAO, and they got struck off by the state of Wyoming because they provided fraudulent information, and they had 2 months to fix it, but didn't, and they lost it. And now just like 3 weeks ago, they registered themselves exactly the same name and got themselves reinstated again. And we're just tired of it. But we hear people all day long. Now, this week alone, I've been there's 7 new arbitrage trading platforms that I've stumbled across in the last 10 days. And they all tell people to hurry up, get involved, and, and the fear of missing out. And they all have the same speech. It's going to happen in the future. But when we spend the time investigating these platforms, I can see that they are the same. They're using, and now they're all coming out with fake credit cards. Well, not fake credit cards, but credit cards where and this is why we struggle. When
I hear you. And let me go back to your first thing, that what you're saying about this particular platform, which I never got involved in. I don't know too much. I've heard the name, of course. People send me stuff all the time. I heard the name, so I don't know. But I hear what you're saying. There are some bad apples on every tree, right? There are some bad apples that will probably make this crypto to some people appear that everything in crypto is a scam, everything in that, but that's not true. There are some good projects out there. And I hear what you're saying. When you really went in and investigated that particular program did not appear to be on an up and up, which is unfortunate. And here's what I always believe: you reap what you sow. So if you're out there doing those type of things to people, you're out there putting out that it's, putting something out there that's not really happening, come back. Listen, I know you don't know me, but I believe in the word and I stand on what the good book says. So I'm going to tell you that I'm, that you went and you did the investigation and you found that program was not doing what they said they were going to do. But that isn't all arbitrage. That isn't all the crypto projects. I just think that because you've been in this part of it, you've seen so much bad that you believe everything is bad. You believe that every program that somebody says out there is bad. And I just want you to see that that's not necessarily true. That's from the model of the world, because you've been in that space. And I get it.
So that's why I asked you what program.
That's why we don't want.
No, it's all right. But I mean, I did ask you what program has worked out well for you. And we did talk about XBR. But the question that we've got here that I think is really important for you to have a go at answering: what due diligence, because you're a leader and you are telling people they should invest and you're advising people. So what due diligence do you do? And how do you go about doing that due diligence? How do you find out that project that you're promoting at the moment is true and genuine, rather than, because you've just said to me, you've got to have belief and they've got to have that vision. But I kind of like, because I went through the investigation of boomerang, and we spent 2 months with maybe 10 people, and we went through and we found all the lines of the code of their website where the hidden files were, and then we found it. We can't afford to spend that much time on it, but in saying that, we did the due diligence, because I'm not going to put $500 worth of my money down on it. So how do you do your due diligence? How do you sleep at night thinking, I know, rather than just saying I believe in it, how do you know that this project you've got is the real deal?
That is that's a great question. Oh, there's a couple of things. I actually lean on the people that do the technical analysis. So I have people that's what they do. They do exactly what you're doing, looking at the code of different things, and they go in the back and they see that. We speak with the masterminds or the CEOs of different projects, and not that that's always foolproof.
Have you got a sense of humor? Can I tell you something funny? Can I tell you something? Did you see the 2 mics? Have you?
Yeah.
And did you see what do they call it? I forgot. Yeah, that guy. Because there's a guy called Ponzi Patrol. I've forgotten the name of it now. Aquamarine Club, and we found out that the CEO is a German born, living in Nigeria, and he's a B-grade actor. And they had him on Zoom meetings, and he was pretending to be the CEO.
No, that's why I just said that's not the only thing, but that does help if you get a chance to, and not everybody has access to the top people in any company, right? Like the person that's the mastermind, where you can ask some of the tough questions, where you can look in some of the financials, you can look at the projections, because not all of them have, been around for a long time. I get that. So you're asking me some of what I do to check out these programs, and then we've been through different things that didn't work out, right? And we know some of the things to look for. We know some of the things that is like a red flag in certain things. So you're asking me that question, and that's a really good question, whoever asked. I just want to clear the record, because having a conversation where you and I can just speak and you can ask me questions and not yell and say that I'm somebody that I'm not. This is acceptable, right? And we're not going to always agree. Like Danny, we're not going to always agree, but I want you to just see that not every program is a scam.
But can you give me one?
If you come across that way sometimes, like you're like everything.
You've actually haven't given me one that hasn't been a scam. You just say they haven't worked out.
No, I didn't. That's not true. You just asked me you asked me why did I believe in the XBR program, and I just told you, and that's not a scam. That's clearly a project and a protocol that works to help people to diversify. And so if you're going to go with that thinking, we don't have to continue our conversation. But if you're going to at least listen to what I say and just, you don't have to agree with it.
But I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm asking you how you do your due diligence, really, aren't I?
And I just shared that with you. Okay.
But
the statement that you just said is, I think, the reason that you come, like,
if you can get over the fact how I've been doing this for 3 years, you see, and you've got to get over the fact how I storm into Zoom rooms, because after trying many different angles, like if you put your hand up in any of these rooms, and get kicked out without even getting a chance to whoever you are, and they also turn off their chat rooms, don't they?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You ever heard of Napoleon Hill?
Yes. Yep.
And have you ever heard of you can get more bees with honey than kicking over the bee nest?
I agree.
When you go into let me ask you a question. When you go into someone else's Zoom room as a guest,
do
you think it's appropriate to fill up their chat room saying that their program is a scam, or saying this without even regardless of how you feel about it?
I think I agree. I know what you're saying, and I get you. I do, honestly do, and I think good on you for asking me that question.
You're a professional, and you want to be taken seriously.
I don't have to be a professional, but I try to be sometimes. But sometimes I just get fed up with it. I'm human.
Seriously, you want your channel is supposed to be helping people, right? And
well, no, this isn't about my YouTube channel, Marshonda. Am I saying your name right, Marshonda?
No, you're not. Let me let me say this.
Yeah.
The reason that I want you to be a professional when you come into someone else's Zoom room, so that they can have an adult conversation with you, just like you and I are having right now. You came into my Zoom room earlier as somebody else, but when I requested that you come back with your right name, you did, and I honored that. And I'm giving you my time, which is the most precious thing that I have.
Yeah.
To answer your questions. So I really.
Yeah, I get all that. No, that's good.
Agree, because but I just want you to see that every program out there is not a scam, baby.
Well, I'd love you to know my story too, because you might be surprised.
No, come tell me.
Well, I was brought up in a religious cult, and I've had 2 people in my immediate family die by suicide because they couldn't live up to the expectations that the organization put on them. And that was at a young age, and it did really affect me. I'm very dyslexic, and I literally have a reading and writing level of a 9-year-old. I got tested. I cannot use a pen and paper. Technology's changed my life. But a lot of people often think I'm not being professional because a lot of the things I literally cannot pronounce your name. You could tell me your name and I'll forget it in 3 seconds. That's my mind. And that's what I struggle with. But everyone thinks the norm is everyone should be able to read and write. And, like if I want to read something right now, I literally go like this, and with a bit of luck, my computer normally reads it to me. And here it goes.
This individual isn't just scamming you out of your hard-earned money with.
So I use technology to the full. A lot of people accuse me because I have a voice and I'm out there as a YouTuber. They think I'm trying to make money out of my YouTube channel. $160 I got last. I do monetize it because I would like to do this full time. $160 a month is what I'm getting currently at the moment. The most I've ever made was when I first started. I think I made $1,200 in a month. I thought, oh, this is going to be a good way to make a living. But as things work out, it doesn't maintain like that. But the honest thing is I'm on the bones of my ass. I don't have any money. I struggle with money. My business fell over when COVID happened. I used to own a business networking company, and I used to get small to medium-sized businesses together. And we used to meet in cafes and bars in the morning. And I used to help the small to medium-sized businesses work together with one another. A lot of people started coming along to my meetings, and they would tell me that they were like an Arbonne salesperson, or like Amway, and they were trying to build a business out of it. And I'd look at it and say, this is never going to turn into a business. This is just a side hustle, and you would have to sell this, and to get this, blah blah blah. So then I'd say, what are you passionate about? And they would tell me, and I said, well, let's see if we can build a business around your passion. And I used to always say to people, I would share my experience, knowledge, and skills. And I've had my best year in business was 2004. I turned over $500,000 in my company, and I took home $275,000 in a year's pay. I built a house out in the country, and we lived out there and had a satellite on the roof to get the internet. And we've had horses and flash cars and V8s and all sorts of things. And then I lost the whole lot when I got to 40, nearly died. And I've been going backwards ever since financially. But people often accuse me of being a scammer, which is, I know that hurts because you say that, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I have actually seen a lot of people die by suicide because of, people have tricked them out of their money. And I get, on average, probably about 5 to 10 people a week come to me telling me they've invested in a scam, they've lost their money. The other day, a guy came to me who's doing reviews on people's apps on Apple, and he's got $400 so far, and he's about to put more money in, and then he's going to get more out, blah, blah, blah. And I said, stop, you'll lose all your money. I'm familiar with this scam. And he goes, oh, thank goodness. I thought it was too good to be true. And I just get people all day long coming to me saying, I got involved in this and that happened, and I lost money, and that's why I do it.
I appreciate you sharing a little bit about your background. Let me go to the first thing. I'm really sorry that you had people in your family commit suicide.
Die by suicide's a nicer way of saying it. Just saying.
Would you say?
If you ever have anyone, and this is a message to people listening, if they are, if you ever have anyone who takes their own life and you're talking to the family, it's always nicer to say they died by suicide, because you can die by cancer, you can die by a car accident,
Gotcha.
And it's just
Thank you
it's a really lovely,
Right.
and I spent ages trying to remember, because suicide's just a horrible word for people that had people around.
Right.
Anyway, I appreciate it, but that's cool.
I'm really sorry that you
Thank
had
you.
that experience, because that my nephew passed on last year, and it was very difficult when you have someone close to you
Yeah.
transition.
It's not normal.
So, yeah, it's not.
No.
It's painful.
Yes.
So I'm really sorry that you experienced that. And what I noticed in your story, which is very similar to many of us, right? We're out here because we really want to help people not have the heartache and the pain that they would experience if they were to lose their money, or to not, like you said, right now you may be struggling, you may be going through a valley, which many people are, right?
Yep.
And many of us are here trying to help. So I think that your intention is of the same as most people who are in these network marketing arenas and doing side businesses, because they want something better, right? And they want to help people, especially if you're in network marketing, it's because you believe that this product or service is going to help someone. So what you're doing is of the same thing, is the same intention. And what I've learned, if you listen to enough people, when it gets down to it, everybody wants to help themselves, the people around them, their family, their community, and people not to experience pain. So I get that that's your mission. I hear you now, clearly. I just think that might be an even nicer way to come across, especially if you're trying to really get to know someone and their program. All right, somebody's calling me, probably to tell me that you're putting me on your Zoom channel, which is fine. I'm not afraid. I don't run away. I run toward helping people and having people understand where people are coming from. And we don't have to always agree. You're probably not going to agree on a lot of things, because I don't see the glass half empty. I see it half full always. Always.
Yeah, but I do.
I
motivate people. I'm also do a lot of public speaking. I'm not Tony Roberts.
I love that you said what your passion was helping small to medium business owners figure out what their passion is and help them to build a business around that. I don't think that's, you said you think it's dead, but I think that that's a awesome passion right now, because most people don't know what they're passionate about.
I think
don't know how to make a business
honestly,
out of what they're passionate.
I'm not waving
a business out of what they're passionate about.
I'm not waving my own flag, but I remember when I was 40, I went through a divorce. Wife said she wanted a divorce. The very next day, I had pains. Went to the doctor and said, I'm in a lot of pain, but my wife wanted a divorce. It was a bit of a shock. And then I went home and basically my appendix, it burst about 10 hours later. But then I spent 2 weeks in hospital trying to fight and save my life. Long story short, went through a bit of a messy divorce, and then she tried to ruin my business, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm 40 years of age, and I'm in a one-bedroom apartment 10 meters away from a railway line, and every morning at 4:30 in the morning, this train used to go past and blow its horn before it went through the intersection, wake me up. And I was incredibly lonely. And I thought, oh my goodness, my mum used to always say, don't feel sorry for yourself. So then I started organizing social groups, and I had a dating program called Lonely Hearts. And then I started organizing mountain biking events, dog walking events, and finished up running a hiking and tramping group for about 8 years. And we even had 2 people in the group die by suicide because they were lonely and they had no one to talk to. One of them was home alone for 3 weeks before anyone found them. And then I was one of the last persons they talked to, because I hadn't seen them for a while, and I rang them up and said, look, we hadn't seen you for a while. And they said, oh, that guy that I went out with really set me back. And I said, oh, so sorry to hear that. And then 2 weeks after that, they died by suicide. And it's like, it's a horrible thing, but loneliness is a killer. And, just put your opportunity to the side. A lot of the people that they target in these Zoom meetings are people who are lonely, and they paint a picture of something like in the religion, you're going to live in a paradise and all the righteous people will inherit the earth. And then there's another scam out there at the moment, and it's a real shocker. and it's about this guy. It's called Helping Hearts International, and it's a guy who claims to be a parish on overseas missionary, helping people invest in an opportunity where he's going to feed the starving people in Africa. And it's just total, and you just hear these lies, and you see these people in these Zoom meetings, and you just think people like community. I mean, you've got a community. I was saying earlier on, you have about 80 people in your community. It never seems to grow. And I get the community. It's the same with religion. And I get the people with loneliness, like they've been part of a community. And then all of a sudden, if you stand up to the community and you've lost your life savings, and you put your hand up and say, I've lost my money, what happens? You normally get kicked out of these communities. And then that's when people are very vulnerable, and things can happen. And, and I've been privy to seeing that happen. And that's what upsets me a lot of the time. That's my sort of 2 cents.
I see that's your passion, and you're very passionate about, like I said, your intention is to help people. I get a little bit more of who you are and what you're up to. And I don't what I try not to do is to put everything in one box, because not every community, because you don't know anything about my community and what I do to help my community and stand up for my community and do different things. So you don't know that. And I get it. You don't know that. But being just like you gave me a correction and said, Marshonda, it's better to say die by suicide than to say suicide, right? So you gave me some correction, and I just want to give you some little correction, and I gotta go. I just noticed that I'm late for a Zoom right now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give you the time, because you did.
I'll have more respect for you, I promise.
You did, in fact, come back to my Zoom room with your real name now. So I wanted to honor that, and I wanted to answer some questions, because it seemed like you had some questions for me. But I just want you to think that not everything, when you talk about all communities are like this, all opportunities are like this, they always go after these people. I just would give you a little bit of context that not everybody is like that. Most people are just like you and I. We're passionate about helping people design their life the way they want to live it, and to help them to help them to get what they want out of life, what they want out of life. So I think that if you were to come from that perspective, when you go into people's Zoom rooms and understand that most people are doing the best they can with what they have. This is other people's hopes. Let me just say this. These are other people's hopes and dreams. And when you come in and just start automatically saying, this is a scam, this is a scam, this is a scam, and filling up people's chat room, what do you think people are going to do? They're going to kick you out, because it's not appropriate. It's like going into somebody's house and just start throwing stuff all over their living room, or just breaking up their dishes in their kitchen, instead of saying, let's sit down and have a meal and talk. So that's all I want to say. I appreciate you coming back with your real name and giving me a little bit about your background. And I now know that you're passionate about helping people, which is what all people are, if you really get down to it. Most people want to be loved, right? You said there's people are lonely. They want to feel loved, and they want to feel that they matter. Yeah. And if you can help people do that, you're on the right track, my friend.
Yeah, no, that's right. Just think you may not know a little bit about our organization, but just imagine we've got a pie, and it's cut into about 12 different pieces, and everyone plays a different role. So we actually do report these to the IRS and Homeland Security and the FBI. I've been an informant in providing them information. And I'm saying that because my role is a disruptor, as one of the Avengers. That's what I do. And I've got the balls, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning here in New Zealand. That's what my job is, because we have reported, tried to stop. We provided evidence on a platter nicely, horribly, shoved it down people's throats, and we can't do much more. So just the other day, we've actually managed to shut down people's Zoom meetings. We're reporting. We've got a team of people that all play a different role. Now, my approach is probably out there, but I get it. And I mean, hey, I have a lot more respect for you. Talking's good. And maybe if I did a bit of research, now I'm just going to ask you this blunt. If I had another meeting with you like this, and I did a bit of research about X-Bull Run and came back to you, would you look at those and study those if we come up with some pretty interesting stuff?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
All right, let's
But
do that another
I-
day. You got to go.
All right, brother.
All right, awesome.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. Lovely.